Hi, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're looking at our 2007 Honda TRX400 EX. Specifically, we're going to look at the chain in the front and rear drive gears, as well as your chain guides. We're going to take a look at them and evaluate them. And you pretty much want to do this every time before you get on the machine. Especially want to look at the chain slack adjustment. I can go ahead and tell you, just from an initial look, this is way out of whack, and that can cause problems that we're going to discuss later. So zoom on in and let's take a look at it. All right, the first thing we need to do is take a look at the chain slack. It should be around 1 3/8. Let's see where this one is. All right, that looks right around 2.5, so that's way too much. And what happens when your chain is that slack? It's basically just flopping back and forth. You don't really have a good connection in between the throttle and the rear wheels. So that really needs to be tightened up a pretty good bit. The trick is here not to over tighten it, because if you do, when the suspension is moving up, that'll put even more stress on the chain and it can actually break. All right, to set the slack, you want to loosen up these 4 Allen heads on the back side of the hub. And the hub is actually what they call a concentric hub. Once I get these loosened up, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, this is a concentric hub. And what you'll see is the pivot point here compared to the outside is offset. So when you pull it back, that tightens the chain, and when you move it forward, that loosens it. All right, to tighten her up, insert your socket into one of those slots and pull toward you. Let's look at our measurement. All right, that's 1 3/4. Well, let's look at that again. That looks like it right there. About 1 3/8 right there. All right, with that set, you retighten down your pinch bolts on the hub. And then we can start looking at the chain, the sprockets, and the guides. See what kind of shape they're in. The chain looks to be in pretty good shape. I don't see any kinks. Just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. What I prefer to use is some Honda chain cleaner. Fairly simple. Just spray it down, brush it in a little bit, and then spray it back off. Once the chain is clean, you need to recoat it with some chain lube. And that's really important for the life of the chain and the sprockets, and especially the chain guides. And you have 2 guides. There's one on the bottom cover right here. This is what it looks like. Basically, the chain just rides over that area. If that gets dried out, it's going to wear it out really quick. Now up front, right behind the front sprocket, over the front of the swing arm, is another guide. And that's the one you really need to keep an eye on, because there's a lot of stress and a lot of friction going across that point. All right, looking at our sprocket, it really looks to be in good shape. What you're looking for here is just a uniform shape in between each point, like this new one. You just want to have it look uniform from point to point. As you can see in this picture, when they get worn, they start to get elongated. And worse than that, they can actually start cracking off the teeth. All right, from here, let's go ahead and get her cleaned up. Spray this down, let it set for about 30 seconds, start brushing it off. Just to get off any outside gunk, mud, dirt, whatever. Go straight down the middle as well. Get it out of those links. Now what you want to do is put the machine back on the ground, take it outside, just spray it down with some water, bring it back in, and then we'll recoat it with some chain lube. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, we've got her back inside. The only thing that's left to do is just lubricate the chain. So shake up our chain lube. Start spinning the tire. I usually start at the top of the chain. Then move down here and do the inside of the chain. And that's really all there is to this whole process. All right, from here, we can just put the tire back on and go take it for a spin. Now listen, if your chain and your sprockets do show any wear on either one, you really need to replace them as a set. Do yourself a favor. Otherwise, if you put a new rear sprocket and a new chain on a front sprocket that's worn out, it's going to wear out the chain twice as fast at least. Well, listen, I appreciate you watching, and if you have any questions or comments, just put them below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, be safe out there. Thank you.